basically this is common sense corporate finance. So businesses has been running, many years before. The other reason I think which is important is that, all the theoretical knowledge that you're gaining now, studying, studying with Alimshan, studying, other subjects, whether that's corporate finance, whether that's macroeconomics, they all just really should provide you tools to, understand, analyze, and solve problems. So, I mean, they should have a real life application. This is important, okay? And I will try to provide this kind of perspective, and this is my role in these sessions, right? And we need to thank Alimshan for giving you such an opportunity. Other universities don't have this kind of opportunities. As I understand, other courses, even within KIMEP, they don't have this opportunity. Okay, so so my name is Talgat Salihov. I work at Tengri Partners Investment Banking. This is one of the leading investment banks, not only in Kazakhstan but generally in the Central Asian region. And I lead two business streams at Tengri Partners. So one of which is financial advisory division, and the other one is merchant banking division. I will let you know what's each of that divisions do in a little bit more detail just in a couple of minutes. Because this is afternoon, and I guess you had your lunches, so to keep up your attention, I'd like to make at least these sessions as interactive as possible. Therefore, let's interact, and at the same time, I would like to say that if any one of you would have any question at any time during this session today, then please feel free to raise your hand. I don't know how it works exactly, but I guess there is, or in Zoom there is an opportunity to do that. So feel free to do that, and ask questions from me. Right, I will try to reply. Does anyone know what Tengri Partners is? Read about it? Heard anything about it in any recent times? A simple small question.
Yes, we heard about Tengri Bank.
Okay, guys, what have you heard about that? About Tengri Partners?
Invest banking, which deal with some companies, insurance.
Who is speaking?
Alim.
Okay.
A company which deal with investments, with insurance, and so on, with banking.
Right. Okay, not so much with insurance, but obviously we provide risk management, which can be thought of as insurance, but not so much. I will tell you what I do, what the company, what the firm is doing. But just in the recent times, basically, we have issued. So investment banks, they raise capital. So we raise capital for our clients, and we issued first gender bonds, for example, in Kazakhstan. Gender bonds. This is debt side instruments, right? Bonds. What bond is. So we issued gender bonds. This is the type of financing that will be directed to finance projects where, to support women, women who, do business, who do, different kinds of businesses. We also were the first one in Kazakhstan who issued green bonds, for example. This is so the money, the financing that goes to financing green projects, such as, alternative energy sources. Okay, so this is very briefly about Tengri Partners. Okay. Okay, so let me start from sharing, I guess, my screen, if I can, right? Can I do that?
Yes, sure, you can. You've got that.
Okay. Right, okay, share that. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
I guess I lost some control. One sec, please. Right, okay, 1 second. So you can see my screen, right?
Not yet.
Okay, good. So let me open that one.
Yeah, now we can see.
Great, thanks. Thanks a lot. So let me do F5. Okay, great. So this is so again, my role is to give you practical perspective, and I told you the reasons. There are a couple of reasons. The practice is important to facilitate your studies and stuff like that. So what I would like to talk about very briefly, I'll speak about myself, and about the things I do. If you would have questions, feel free to ask, no problem. Then I'll speak, again, we'll try to keep myself brief on what Tengri Partners is and what, there is Tengri Partners Investment Bank, but there is a parent company which does, which have more businesses than just investment bank, so I can speak about that. Then I'll make a brief introduction of what the practical sessions will entail for you guys, and I hope it would be very, very interesting for you, and it will give you again perspective to what corporate finance, its applications, and I hope you would better understand why businesses, companies do what they do. Okay, and lastly, we can if we would have time, we can speak about what investment banking is, and or about something else if you would want to, right? So about myself, let me see what I wanted to talk about. Well, obviously, let's start from my bio. Well, I'm from, I graduated school in Nur Sultan in Astana in 2006, but I was born here in Almaty, so I'm from Almaty. I started my high school here. I studied for 2 years, but then, suddenly at the end of 1990s, my parents moved to there, and they, they forced me to go with them. After my graduation from high school, I went, basically, I really wanted to study abroad, but I couldn't. I was younger than, I wanted to study, to apply to Bolashak scholarship. You all know, I guess, about the scholarship, but I was, 18 years old. I mean, I was younger than 18 years old, and you have to be 18 years old in order to apply. So I stayed, because of that, I decided to wait through. I stayed in Almaty. I studied civil engineering. So I'm not a financier or an economist by education. And I can, speak about my gradual shift to financial profession. If anyone would ask me, the details, but I'll keep it brief at this point. So I completed 2 full years in Almaty studying civil engineering. Then I went to the UK, to the University of Nottingham, studying again civil engineering. I completed the course there. I got back to Kazakhstan. I did a year working in one of the leading engineering consultancies, designing roads, bridges and structures like that. Then I did a master degree, again, not in the finance field. I did my master degree. I enrolled to Imperial College in London. I studied my master degree in transport and business management, as you can see. But when you study in London, you get exposed to the world of finance, because London is the capital, and was and still remains the capital of the global financial markets. Therefore, there my shift to the financial profession has started. nevertheless, so I successfully got my degree. I nevertheless worked in one of the leading consultancies in London called Mott MacDonald. This is one of the, this is not one of the, this is the largest engineering consultancy, private engineering consultancy in the world. So I worked in their head office in London. But, you know, to accelerate my shift to the financial field, I, you know, applied to PwC in Almaty in 2014. And basically, I successfully, you know, got in. And I started working in the deals department in the transaction services, you know, division. So I started from doing financial due diligence work. Then I moved to Astana. So I did financial due diligence in Almaty. I moved to Astana to do the valuation. So we had, you know, many different projects, like, you know, obviously valuations, financial modeling projects, capital structure advisory projects, investments, capital investments, assessment of capital investment projects, you know, and many other different projects at PwC. So then in 2017, I joined the debt and infrastructure department, well, a team which was based in Russia, in St. Petersburg. So I worked there. But then I got an offer from another company called CSI. This is one of the, you know, local Kazakh management consultancies. I worked there. I worked there for about 7 months. So I was invited to, you know, build the capital, the corporate finance department's practice there. We weren't quite successful, and so after 7 months, I got an offer from Tengri Partners. So, and since then, I'm working here. I started, so basically what I do currently, right? So this is basically, I thought this might be interesting for you, right? And important just for your future reference, right? If you would have any future questions in future, or maybe presently you have any questions, you can always feel free to ask me, okay? So I started my work as head of M&A. So I led our M&A engagements, but then you know, with time, my you know, my responsibilities broadened, right? So now I deal with you know, various kind of products in the company. Okay, so I lead the department that, you know, provides capital raising, you know, M&A advice, restructuring advice. There are actually the whole list of other potential products that we provide, but, you know, in this economic environment, the most services in request from our clients are capital raising and mostly M&A advice. So M&A and capital raising from different sources, capital raising from different sources. And another things that I do is merchant banking. This is when we invest our own capital as a private equity alongside our clients' capital. So because we are not, you know, we are not professionals, experts in all the fields. For example, I don't know how to manage agricultural companies, how to, you know, how to produce furniture, for example, but our partners, clients, they do know how to do that. So, and we just, you know, alongside with their capital, we invest our own. And we also, I also, you know, overlook our operations in establishing private equity funds. So there are a number of funds we are currently working to establish. We are working with investors, and there are certain interests to the funds, to the region, to Kazakhstan. So we are working to establish, you know, mezzanine funds, you know, private equity funds with varying strategies. Okay, so this is briefly about myself. Okay, and if you would have, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Right. So in the meantime, let me move to the second, to the. Speaking about, you know, Tengri Partners, what is Tengri Partners? So this is a group of financial services companies. and as well as companies that carry out proprietary investment. So we invest our own capital. So within financial services companies, we have two business streams, as you can see: investment banking and commercial finance. So let me talk about investment banking, right? So our investment bank is actually the oldest investment bank in Central Asia. So it was established in 2004. So you can imagine this is the oldest brokerage firm in Kazakhstan. So you can imagine that, being the oldest one, we stood at the forefront of the development of the investment banking fields in Kazakhstan. So we participated in the key principal historical transactions that ever happened in Kazakhstan. Okay, so we underwrote IPO of Kazmunaygas, for example. Okay, we underwrote and everyone know what Kazmunaygas, what the firm is. So we underwrote IPO of KCell, for example, at the time when it was private one, and at the time when it was the largest telecom operator mobile operator in Kazakhstan. Okay. So we underwrote bonds for government. We underwritten bonds for the state-owned enterprises, for largest private companies, leaders of their own field. Okay. Then we underwrite, actually today we underwrite bonds for development financial institutions such as EBRD, ADB, IFC. So we are the preferred and single issuer, manager of issuance of their bonds. Okay, for the last couple of years we underwrote about close to 2 billion, more than 2 billion actually, dollars equivalent in tenge, basically. So this is investment. This is a brief history and introduction to our investment banking division. Okay, so commercial finance. Well, this is basically a company that provides financing to SME businesses. So this is leasing, this is factoring, this is working capital finance products. So we purchased that company in 2017, so quite recently, about 4 years ago. Since then, we have grown the portfolio of this company threefold, and today, as you can see over here, this is the largest private leasing company in Kazakhstan for today. There are larger companies but they are state-owned. There are companies named DBK Leasing, BRK Leasing, and there are companies called Kazagra Finance. They are leasing companies, but obviously they are government, they are state-owned enterprises. They are super large, okay, compared to us. So in the meantime, we introduced a lot of corporate governance changes. This is very important, very important. So we place a lot of emphasis on the corporate governance, on the transparency, and so that everything is up to the international standards. Okay. So principal investing, today we employ mostly one strategy, which is buyouts. So we can do management buyouts with existing managers in the companies. We can do standalone acquisitions. We already have acquired a number of companies in the oil and gas, in the energy sector, in the manufacturing sector, in the financial services sector, and a couple of other sectors. So this is mostly buyout strategies, but we are also exploring opportunities to enter into the growth private equities field. But tendencies that are happening in Kazakhstan influence our operations. And lastly, private funds. This is what I wrote, and we are working to establish a number of funds, right? I can speak about that, separately, in a little bit more detail if you would want to. Okay, so this is Tengri Partners. Now, speaking of investment banking, well, Tengri Partners Investment Banking, we have offices in Almaty, in Astana, right? We, as I said, we underwrote, IPO, we underwrote bonds for Kazmunaygas. You can see, large names, Khabar, you can see Kukmin Bank, at the time when Kukmin Bank has bought 50% of bank center credit in 2008. So we, worked with Santo. This is, Him Farm in Shymkent. We worked with KSL, as you can see, and there are many other companies, these household names, very familiar to every one of you. Okay, and this is what we do currently. So there are a lot of operations in the investment banking over here. So we do a lot of capital raising for public, for basically private and multinational companies. We do debt advisory. We help to attract syndicated loans. We help to attract financing from banks, commercial banks, from individuals. And we advise, obviously, M&A advisory and other sorts of advisory. Okay. So we have trading, so we can trade, we can, for our clients, we can buy, we manage their liquidity, so they can earn something on their liquidity, so they don't just rest without any returns. We can buy, for example, some international securities for our clients, so we provide liquidity basically, through our trading operations. And we solve problems for our clients. We can buy securities that would hedge some risks for our clients, for example. Okay, we have investments. As I said, we have this merchant banking operations, buyouts, acquisitions with the management, without the management, and we are entering into the growth equity investing. But we are also, we had a couple of transactions where we did distressed investing. We bought, dying companies, in a distressed situations. We developed them and then we on-sold them, okay, to other parties on the market. And we have the research, which supports the activities of other departments, and we have asset management. Previously, our asset management was a bit more active, but we liquidated a number of funds. But we are now developing a number of new products to Kazakhstan. Therefore, hopefully soon there would be a number of new funds that our clients would be able to participate. So this is briefly about investment. Tengri Partners Investment Bank. Okay, anyone have any questions so far?
Question: you told that Tengri Partners provide some IPO.
Yeah.
Is it possible, because IPO I saw that provide only stock exchanges as CASE?
Okay.
So the question is it possible to provide IPO by not stock exchange?
Obviously, we've done that many. Basically, when a company would like to, for example, let's take an example of Kaspi, KZ. Okay, they did an IPO, right, on London Stock Exchange. But our regulation requires that if you would like to make an IPO, issue your stocks on international markets, you have to have at least 20% of your stocks to be listed in Kazakhstan on Kazakhstan Stock Exchange. So basically on KASE. Our stock market is hugely underdeveloped. There are only, as far as I know, 94 companies currently that are listed today on the stock exchange. This is, you know, this is super little. You know, I guess 90. I don't remember the exact number, but as far as I remember,
110.
sorry.
Approximately 110 companies.
Right, maybe 110, but it's around 100 companies is being listed, right? So this is, and there are, you know, if you would want to buy a stock, a security, stock of one of those companies, you might not be able because there are no trading happening on stock exchange of those companies. Okay, but theoretically and actually practically it is possible to do IPO, but you know, it is very difficult to find the buyers for your stocks, because in order to attract an interest to your stocks, you have to have a very high rating, the credit rating. You have to be very you know, healthy, and most importantly, your shareholders of your company will need to be fine with losing some degree of control. And when the company is healthy, you know, very little amount of people, of shareholders, will want to share the control, to lose the control. Therefore, you know, it doesn't happen here, you know, very often.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's carry on if there are no questions. Right. So yeah, I forgot about that slide. So as you can see, you know, last year, for example, we were #1 investment bank. You know, as I said, you know, equity capital market is not developed in Kazakhstan. So, but debt capital market, it's easier for companies to attract debt because they are not losing any control, any you know, interest in the company. Therefore, you know, debt capital markets are more developed in Kazakhstan. Okay. And we are #1. We were #1 in 2019 by the number of transactions. Okay. And in 2020, I only had, you know, the statistics for 8 months, but you know, if I were to, you know, compile the statistics for the whole year, I think we would be within 3 best, you know, investment banks or, you know, brokerage firms by either the number of transactions or the volume of transactions. Okay. So we are, you know, consistently, you know, within best 3 investment banks in Kazakhstan. And as it, yeah, go on.
Mr. Talgat, I've got a question,
Sure.
if you allow me to ask.
Sure.
During the pandemic, what was the effects on your company actually? Did it affect severely the pandemic, this quarantine issue in 2020?
Well, it's a good question, and it's an interesting question. Why? Because you know, the structure of our revenue is divided between our, you know, capital markets division and between our financial advisory division. You know, in capital markets division, to our surprise, there were not that many you know, setbacks as we expected. And for our surprise, you know, the development financial institutions, EBRD, ADB, and this sort of you know, supranational institutions, they continued to issue bonds nevertheless, because they still, in their agendas, they had so basically what they do, they issue bonds in Kazakh tenge. Then using that financing, they provide loans to Kazakh borrowers. Doing that, they eliminate the risk of the currency risk. Okay. So and so they had in their agendas the need to finance their borrowers. Therefore, you know, to our surprise, there weren't so many, you know, setbacks on the capital markets, you know, side of our business. But then speaking of M&A side of business, there were setbacks. The summer was very quiet. To be honest, we still had deals in the springtime, but those deals were actually deals of 2019, already agreed in 2019, and so we were just completing the deals that we agreed to execute in 2019. So we continued to do them in the first half of 2020, but then the summer was was very quiet. The springtime was a bit better, and by the end of the year, things got even better. More clients started to come and to looking for transactions. Yeah, but all in all, I would obviously, I can say that 2019 was better than 2020, and we hope that there is some pent-up demand accumulated in the economy, so that 2020 would be better than 2020. I mean 2021 would be better than 2020.
Thank you so much. We hope as well. We hope.
But in addition, our trading, by the way, our trading activities improved a lot. In fact, the repo market, we execute about 15 to 40% of daily transactions by volume on the Kazakh repo market. This is what we do. So we occupy about 15, consistently occupy 15 to 40% of the volume that is being traded on the repo market. So all those who want, different types of securities, they do that through our company. Okay. So, and this type of, transactions, they grew over that time. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's talk about the course. What you can expect. So the practical courses that I will be help you with. So we will hopefully, well, the objectives of the course is to facilitate your learning, as I said. This is also to provide you skills, and some tools, so that you can, if you would be working somewhere after you graduate, whether that's Big Four, whether that's within some in the finance departments, in the corporate finance departments of some companies, whether you would be a finance director, this is very helpful. I hope. Okay, I will give you a big picture perspective. Okay. To the corporate finance and how things are working in the real life. So this is the objective of the practical sessions. So speaking of the structure, this is very brief, and this is brief layout that Alimshan and I had agreed to. So you will have one session with me, and I will show you how we within Tengri Partners, and how things, how people in Big Four, for example. Why I'm speaking about Big Four, because a lot of people from KIMEP, for example, they go into this direction. So I will show you how to calculate cost of capital of Kazakh companies, of existing Kazakh companies. Okay, I think this is very useful. Then I hope we will have a session where I will show you how to calculate the optimal capital structure. And why this is important, because calculating optimal capital structure, you would first cement your knowledge on how to calculate cost of capital first, because you would do that on the iterative basis. While calculating the optimal capital structure for the company, you will better understand how companies make decisions on their capital structure, and then while you will do that, you will see how the optimal capital structure affect the value of the company? This is also very important. So you will also, calculate the value of the companies, okay, of the existing Kazakh companies. And I hope you would be able, at the end of the day, you will be able to say whether that particular company today, existing company, is financed optimally, okay? So you will be organized into groups, okay? I don't know how many people within the group, maybe 4, maybe more. We'll see that with Alipshan. We'll discuss that later on. And within the groups, you will do the analysis, okay? And Alipshan and I will pick the companies for you for each group, and each group will have one company, okay? As a group, I hope that you will produce a group report, showing the results of your calculations and your findings. And I hope that you will explain, how you came to this sort of calculations or to this sort of companies. I will also try to explain you, I will try to explain you why companies, so how company can be financed in each of its stage of development, okay? So given, how young companies are being financed, how, mature companies are financed, right? And I will try to give you an understanding of the advantages of debt and disadvantages of debt, right? Of debt products. And then at the end of the day, we hope that you will do the presentation for us, a group presentation. Why presentation are important, and why we would like to structure that as a group project, because normally when you will work in the field, most of the work currently is done within groups. So you will very little time you will work independently. It is very important that you can communicate effectively with your colleagues, with your peers, with your senior management, with your junior colleagues. So it's all about teamwork. And then it's very important how you present, because I present, for example, I'm the board member. But I present to the the members of the board of directors, for example, right? It is very important that you can concisely and very shortly communicate and present your findings or stuff like that. And it's also important to be able to present to your clients. Okay. So this is how the course will be structured. And this is what we will, discuss on the course. So now let's talk about what the investment bank, or maybe you would like to talk about something else. Let me see if I haven't missed anything. Yeah, I think that's fine. So if you would want to talk about something else, let's talk about something else. Well, if I
questions
sure.
related to you. How is possible that you are civil engineer in specialty, but now you're head of financial department in Tengri?
Yeah. So sorry, I think I missed that. What was the question?
How is possible?
Right.
Because you're a civil engineer, yes?
Yes, so this is by education. I'm civil engineering, but when I started on my second year in my university, I started basically, after all the excitement resided, I started to basically reflect on my studies. I started to think what I would like to do in my life, and I understood that I don't wanna design, roads, buildings, structures and stuff like that. And I don't want to actually build them. And this is when my interest to finance and economics started to grow. When in 2009 there was a devaluation, remember, from 120 tenge, there was a devaluation. Well, you was much younger, but still in 2009, there was a devaluation when there was a 19% devaluation. And at that time, I didn't understand how this devaluation affected me and my family, and my, my financing. But my friends who were financiers, who were economists, they obviously understood. And I thought, this is bad. Why being an engineer, I don't understand such things. Okay, this is when first questions started to reappear. But then with time, basically, as my interest grew, I started to learn more about finance. I basically studied the CFA material, the first year CFA material. This is where my initial understanding and knowledge, I gained my initial understanding and knowledge. If you want to learn something about finance, about corporate finance and economics, just study the first year civil engineering, the level one, the level one CFA material, and that would be, enough for you to understand what how the laws of economy works, how what is corporate finance, what is capital budgeting, and stuff like that. Okay, and then I applied. With that knowledge, I applied to PwC, and I learned by doing things. This is something that I would like to present you, to offer you, learning by doing. This is how I ended up here. So after PwC, I moved further down, doing different financial stuff. And as I said, corporate finance is common sense, and it's very practical. Therefore, this is how I learned.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, no questions, I guess, right? But yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions. Okay. Well, let's talk about investment banking. This is as a bonus. Still, since we still have about 10 minutes, I guess. No, 10-20 minutes. Let me talk briefly about investment banking if you are interested. So again, I wanted to make this interactive, but not so much. I was able to do that, but let's start from here. Can anyone tell me the difference between investment bank and commercial bank? In very simple terms.
May I answer?
Sure. Yeah, go on.
So commercial banks basically make loans, accept deposits, and provide services for general public and small companies.
Okay,
While
good.
on the other hand, investment banks they help larger corporations to set up IPOs, as you have mentioned before, and also deals with purchasing and selling stocks and bonds for those companies. And also they paid mergers and acquisitions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's all very true and very correct. So commercial banks, they serve as intermediaries between customers, who would like to save money, as your colleague Ajar, as your peer Ajar said, if you want to save money in a bank and you put that into the deposit, and this is the money that will go to the borrowers through the commercial banks. So commercial banks, they lend money. So this is how they work. While investment banks, they provide an access to capital markets. Okay, and this is basically in a narrow definition. This is the core role of the investment banks, right? For example, if one corporation needs money to finance its development, its expansion, if it would like to build a factory next to the existing one. It can go to an investment bank, and investment bank will help the company to issue stocks and to raise capital, okay? So that investors within public organized capital markets, they purchase that stocks, and in the process provide capital, provide money to this issuer, to this company, to this corporation, okay? So this is the core, the core service that investment banks provide. On the other hand, commercial banks, they lend, they don't raise capital, they lend capital. So investment banks, they underwrite, they raise. So basically, underwriting and raising capital is the same. So when you can underwrite IPO, which means raising capital through initial public offering, or you can underwrite bonds, which means that issuing bonds and in this way provide capital to the company. But obviously, investment banks do more than just raise capital, right? They provide, various financial, services to a wide range, to a wide array of clients. So as you guys said, investment banks provide M&A advisory. It provides, capital market services. What does it mean? So investment banks make markets in different markets, such as fixed income markets. So fixed income market, this is the debt type products with a fixed income that is provided to the investor. They provide access to the derivatives market, to the equity market, to the commodity market, to the currency market, and so this is the role of investment bank, right? Despite that there is a name, investment bank, right? So investment, which means like invest. So basically, investment banks, they don't invest money. This is not their objective, despite the name. Okay. Investment banks can invest, but this is not their core objective and core operations. They can invest, but there are certain regulatory limitations to do that. And at the same time, investment banks, they are not banks in our traditional understanding, because they don't accept deposits. Okay. But so the investment bank is there to refer to the companies that deal with raising capital and advising on the financial markets. Okay. In addition, investment banks, they also provide wealth management to very high net worth individuals, and they provide asset management services, right, to different institutions. It could be mutual funds, it could be pension funds, it could be other sort of funds. Okay. Insurance companies. Okay. They are insurance companies. They are also our clients. We sell bonds to them that we issue. Okay. I've took that from somewhere from nets, and even Goldman Sachs, they say about themselves that they are not just investment banking companies. They are also securities and investment management firm. Securities meaning, as I said, that they provide access to the capital markets, to access to the to buy different sorts of securities. Okay. Well, what else? So all in all, what investment banks do. So to basically sum up, advice. So they provide advice. So they advise companies on buying and selling businesses, raising capital and managing risk, hedging risk, so that all these companies grow. They provide finance to the governments, as I said, so that governments can build infrastructure, can invest in infrastructure like schools, hospitals, and roads. They also finance capital projects. If, for example, someone is building a large factory, so investment banks raise capital for that. They help to transact, as I said, provide access to the capital markets so that capital can flow one way or another, so provide efficiency to the markets. So they provide efficiency and liquidity to the market. This is very important, right? So it's important to understand that your securities are liquid, so that you always can, manage your working capital and stuff like that when you operate in your business. So they provide management, asset management to different clients, and they as well as invest alongside their clients' businesses. So this is investment banking, in brief.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Dimash.
Yeah, I think you're saying that, for example, one person wants to build a big factory, right? And he needs money to that, and you're helping raise capital.
Yeah.
And I think your value in this business, not only that you're helping him to raise the capital, but also you are guarantee that everything will be okay and other people will be paid and something like that.
Yeah, that's actually true. Basically, there are two ways to provide underwriting services, right? So there is a best effort service when you basically say to your client, okay, so I will try to raise you capital. I will try to raise you, for example, 100 tenge. But if I raise, for example, only 50 tenge, like, I'm sorry, this was my best effort. This is the best I could do. This is the first method of raising capital. The other method of raising capital is when you basically, say that, even if there is no demand from the market, I myself as an investment bank will purchase all of your stocks or bonds, and then I will resend it to the market. Resell it to the market. So there are two ways, two methods of raising capital. So basically, yes, you can say that for 100% I will. So using the second method, you can say to your client, if you would like to build a company, and if I really, as an investment bank, believe in that project, I could say, I will buy everything you issue. So with no problem. This is one. Another comment from me is that, if for example Goldman Sachs comes and say, this is my client and I'm issuing I'm underwriting their bonds, a lot of customers will buy because they believe in Goldman Sachs. Because there is a certain reputation that, clients, Goldman Sachs clients, they don't fail, for example. And basically, when you work with your clients, you share your reputation. So this is very correct comments from you. Okay, so this is basically it's about investment banking. Generally, if you have any other question, feel free to ask now. You can, I think, if there are other questions, you can, do that, I guess, through the maybe emails, right? If the reply is simple, like yes or no, I hope that I will reply straight away, hopefully. If not, then I will accumulate the questions that you send me, and I will, will try to organize maybe a session so that I can, address all of your questions. So I hope that also that the practical sessions will be fun, and learning Kazakh companies, and you will be able to see how they grow with time, what decisions they make, and why they make this sort of decisions. Well, this is it in general. So please, if you have other questions, please do ask.
Excuse me, how long will it take to make reports? I mean, how long will it take these practical sessions?
Well, I'm not sure how many practical sessions we'll have. We'll discuss that with Alim Shan. How long will it take from you to do the reports? Again, like, I mean, hopefully it wouldn't take much time, but and I will, well, on the sessions I hopefully will provide you the full guidance on how to do that. Okay, so you just will have a company for yourself, and you know, it shouldn't be, you know, very difficult, but as long as you understood how, you know, how the concept works. Okay. How much time it will take for the write-up? Hopefully a week, maybe 2. And if you would be working as a team, you know, it depends on you. If you manage your team efficiently, you know, distribute the work, and everyone, you know, do their own stuff, you know, you should be able to build the report very quickly. You know, and this is all still in process, so I can't, you know, give a better answer so far.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have one question?
Sure, go on.
Yeah. I thought so. As I understood, you're working now mainly with big corporate clients, right?
Not actually, no. So, you know, we at Tengri Partners, we work both with, you know, large corporations and smaller ones. We obviously don't work with very small, with, you know, small enterprises. We work mostly with medium and large corporations. Why? Because, you know, if you would like to issue something on the capital markets, you have to be large, because if you only issue $1 million, for example, there would be little interest on the market.
Yeah, no. I mean, for example, just like brokerage firms, they are providing the opportunity to the ordinary people to invest into something. For example, you're raising money for your projects, for your clients' projects, and maybe you can also be a part of brokerage firm or like that.
Yeah. Well, I think, well, the question is that like whether we work with the individuals, right, with retail markets. So we don't work with retail market, as long as you are, you know, high net worth individual. So there are already companies such as, you know, well, there are other companies that work with retail customers, and for that, basically what you have to have is a platform, and you need to invest in that platform, build that platform, and after that you need to market, you know, market that platform to the public. And this is all investments, expenditures, and we thought this is not for us. This is you know, in order to have a you know, retail brokerage to allow, for example, you to, you know, invest into the funds, and then, you know, so for you we can buy something, we have to have a lot of people working for us, you know, and this is different strategy. We don't work with retail markets, because there are other competitors who, you know, basically successfully does it. I mean, successfully attract clients. So, and we don't want to compete with them in this field. You know, we think our strong points can be on other, you know, streams of business. So we work as a broker, we work with large corporations and with medium companies, but we don't work with individuals.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if there are no other questions, I think this is it for today. And as I said, this is only this was an introductory, you know, session. hope you got a better understanding of what I do and what my role on the course will be, and I hope that I attracted your interest to the course, to the practical courses. And I'll see you, in a couple of weeks. The practical sessions themselves will come in a weeks to come. Will be there. So Alimshan, do you have anything to add in terms of the practical sessions?
Actually, I don't have anything to add, but it was clearly stated in one of your slides. Thank you so much for your presentation and for giving us this opportunity to listen and get the knowledge and the experience that you had. And apart from that, I would like to take the attendance. Once it's been a compulsory meeting, then I would like to take the attendance. Mr. Talgat, then if you have something to add, if not, thank you so much. And I will stay with my class and I'll take the attendance.
Okay.
And we will be in touch with you then we'll prepare the plan how we can make it more efficiently.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alimshan, and thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to meet you all at once, finally. Have a great day, have a great afternoon, and have a great week. And I'll see you. I hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
See you.
Thank
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the attendance and I'll let you go. Lutfia is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Aynur,
I'm here.
İnter,
Here.
Aygul, Besikesh. Okay.
Here.
Nuray. Nuray is here.
Sorry, Professor, I think is here.
Okay, okay. Nuray, I think she's not here. Madina Burieva.
I'm here.
Okay. Dilnas Daraiva.
I'm here.
Tamerlan. Mohammed Ismail, he was here. I saw him.
Here.
Aida.
I'm here.
Aynur Kenjaliva.
I'm here.
Leyla.
I'm here.
Yerlan.
Yeah, Professor.
Aygul. Evgenia.
I'm here.
Madina Maufi.
I'm here.
Adina.
Here.
Chingiz.
Here.
Olcaz Dalida.
I'm here.
Daniyar Saliyev.
Yes, I'm here.
Alina Samat. Here, I can see her. Adiler. Sorry,
Here.
Tursunbay.
Here.
Okay. Alim here. Abdul Alim, he was here. He was
Yes, I'm here.
Taurian. Exat.
I'm here, Professor.
Adilet.
I'm here.
Ajar.
I'm here.
Ramile, she was here, I think.
Yes, I'm here.
Amirjan Tursunov.
I'm here.
Adilbek.
Adilbek here.
Okay. Dil Muhammad. Iksan. And Mihriay, she was here.
I'm here.
Okay, great. Guys, before you go, concerning the mural, this lecture is available. And once we finish, I will upload